Hey everyone, good morning. I figured I'd come on here and make a quick video and give a voice to all the colorblind people out there. If I could, I'd give you functional cones, but I can't, so I'll give you a voice instead. Retina humor, huh? And I'm not talking about, figuratively being not seeing color or whatever. That's all good, but I mean like literal X chromosome color vision deficiency. Um, and you've probably seen the glasses that people get for color vision. That in the videos they're awestruck by being able to see color, which is pretty cool. They never worked for me. My family got me a pair, and then some medics that I worked with also got me a pair. So I got cool sunglasses out of it, but it didn't really do much for me in the way of color. But when I was a kid, I really didn't pay much attention to the issue, of being colorblind or whatever. I do remember there being times where specific memories, like people saying that the bottom light on the stoplight is green. To me it just looks white. And there's a couple different stories like that. I just always remember it being weird trying to describe it to people, like being colorblind and like not um, communicating to people about things like, I know the grass is green, um, but because people tell me it's green, but it doesn't look the same as if I'm looking at a rainbow and all the colors of the rainbow and stuff. Um, and then I proceed to say things like, that bush right there is brown or whatever, and they look at each other weird because the bush isn't brown; it's actually green. I've got a lot of stories, similar to that. Um, but when I joined the army, that's kind of when I realized that it really affected me significantly, especially in the way of jobs or career. When you go through MEPS, you take one of the things you do is you do the Ishihara test, or however you say it. It's like the blot test where you try to read the numbers inside of the blots of colors, and I failed that pretty good. So then you do this other test where it's got different lights on it. I think it's like called a lantern test or something. Um, anyway, it limited the jobs I could do. Like laundry specialist was a job. I think 88 mic or truck driver was a job. I chose medic. Out of the few jobs I could do, I chose to be a medic. Um, and then I was finishing up my first enlistment. I was set to get out in October of 2007. But we got orders to deploy to Iraq a second time in August, so I got stop loss. Back then they were stop lossing people. I was still dead set on getting out, but I wanted to do be like an FBI agent. So while I was deployed, I started reading into that, and then I realized that that's probably not even a great idea if I would even be allowed to do the job, because when you think about being a detective or something like that, you got to be able to identify like an individual, their clothing or the car they're driving, and that's very difficult to do when you don't have normal color vision. So I ended up staying in the army, and then even when I was decided to stay in, it limited the jobs I could do after that because I didn't want to stay a medic. So I was going to do flight stuff. I couldn't do that, or at least not without a waiver. So I ended up choosing to be a PA or a physician assistant. I got into that program, and even that was kind of weird. Like when I did my dermatology rotation, I remember going in and seeing a patient and going back and briefing the dermatologist about this suspicious black lesion that they had, and it turned out to be a purple vascular lesion, so it wasn't suspicious at all. And so it's just little things like that that you don't think of, but it really kind of placed me here where I am today, and it did kind of shape my career and the jobs and stuff that I was able to do. And I think in a way too, it can affect your mood. I assume it can. You know, if you can see all the colors, I bet that's, you know, makes you a much more happy person as well. So in a way, not trying to get pity or anything like that. I just think it's interesting to talk about and try to communicate to people what, you know, what you can and can't see. But it, you know, it's a part of who I am, so I'm not super bummed out about it, and it's kind of placed me, or assisted in placing me where I am today. But I think it would be pretty cool to see colors. So if you can see colors, you know, be grateful for that. All right, have a good one.